Hi, I'm Dave, and welcome to the Gamer's Den. Right now we're in our Mice and Mystics series, and we're on turn 6. So we left the sewers. Sadly, we had to leave the fishhook and thread there, though. We entered into the kitchen tunnels, and I'm going to show you guys what the initiative track is going to look like for this turn. It's going to be kind of interesting, to be honest. We have 2 minion initiative cards on there, and one is actually a new one, the roaches, that we haven't encountered yet in this series. So I'm really interested to see how we're going to deal with these roaches. For this week, I didn't receive any comments. I'm really hoping that I can be able to get some more as time continues on. Jim Medlock has been an awesome viewer and be able to support me in making my decisions, but I'm really hoping that more of you guys will be able to help me out and be able to escape this castle without getting destroyed. It's going to be tough, to be honest. And since we're very close to getting a surge, I'm very interested to see what's going to be going on after that as well. So with that being said, we have our tiles set up from last time. We're all ready to go. Let's just go see how Maginos is going to do. So at this point, Maginos is going to go first. This is actually kind of nice for us because what we're going to do is going to try to do a range attack from here on out and see what we can get done here. I think the only problem is if we start on this space, it's kind of a little bit tricky. One thing you have to know is that we didn't have to do this on the other tiles because there's no walls blocking us. But if you look over here along these edges here, these are walls, and everything in black is stuff that you cannot see through. So this is the wall up here, and then this is all the things in black we can't see through it. But the way that you can gauge this is if you can do a straight line from the middle of one space to the middle of another, and there's nothing in the way of blocking it, then you can be able to see across to that area. Now technically from here, from the middle of this one to the middle of that one, there is just one little thing obscuring it, but it kind of depends on where you actually look at the middle of that space. But I'm going to say that Maginos could probably attack from where he's standing right here if you wanted to. But that's just one way to gauge if you're able to range attack another character. But let's say we have one here and one here, and we actually had to do the measurement like this. Obviously, these parts of the wall here would block their vision of actually hitting that person. So they would have to move to a space where they would have visibility to that opponent. So what I think I'm going to do with Maginos is, since we want to keep him as far away from the danger as possible, I'm going to roll for movement, and he gets a 2. And what I am probably going to do with Maginos is leave him where he is, and I will use his 1 cheese to summon another Mystic Bolt. And I'm going to have that Mystic Bolt attack this Rat Warrior over on that side. And if you remember, Mystic Bolt enables you to use 3 dice instead of just the normal 2 he would be able to use with just his staff. So we're going to summon that Mystic Bolt. We're going to attack that rat. Oop, we have a miss roll here. And wow, we got 2 hits at that Rat Warrior. So we have 2 hits going right at that Rat Warrior right there. That Rat Warrior is going to have to defend against those 2 hits. And we're going to see what we can do here. Ooh, okay, so he blocks one, but the other one gets through. And that Rat Warrior is going to be in the game. So we're actually going to get rid of that Rat Warrior, take him off onto the side. So Maginos summons that Mystic Bolt, takes down that Rat Warrior, and now we have one less guy that we have to worry about later on this turn. And since I rolled for movement already and got a 2, I technically can move right now. The only thing is that it would put Maginos in harm or in danger, and he can attack at least this roach on his next turn, So I kind of want to keep Maginos where he is so that the other mice can be able to protect him, and he will attack the enemies from their back row. So, with that said, I think we're going to end Maginos' turn. So, that's awesome. Maginos is just dominating right now. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's his third rat warrior that he's destroyed so far. So he's really, contributing to the team and doing it from long range, which is perfect. Don't try to get too close to the enemy, right? Try to stay as far away as you can, see what you can do from a distance. And Maginos is just kicking butt. So Maginos is going to be staying over there, and he's going to hopefully see his team be able to defend him and try to take down some more rat warriors and roaches coming up. So I think that was an awesome turn for Maginos, really contributing and helping taking down those rat warriors. So let's see how Collin's going to do. So now we have our fearless leader, Collin. So first let's see what we can do with his movement, see how far he can move. Well, he's not going to be able to move that far. So 1 plus 2 of his movement is 3. So the furthest he can go is 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So either of these spaces Collin can move to. Now the thing is that he can have, so there's not really much else that we can do right now that we've moved Collin to this space other than try to search for something. Collin has no ranged weapons, so he can't attack minions from far away. So we're gonna have to try to see what we can do with searching. Collin was good with the fishhook and thread. Let's see if you can find anything here. Aha! So Collin does find something. Ooh! He finds the Hammer of Nandin. So this is a blunt weapon. It gives you +1 battle value, so it gives you another battle dice to fight with. When attacking a figure with this hammer, if that figure is in the same space as this mouse, add +2 to this mouse's battle instead of +1. And this requires a healer or a tinkerer. So what's really interesting is this does the complete opposite of what Nez's hammer does. It enables you to attack enemies at a close range instead of a further range away. And it is still a blunt weapon. So what Collin's going to be able to do at this moment is just tuck it into his book bag because he cannot use it. And we're going to have to end Collin's turn at this point. I really don't see anything else for him to do. So Collin was able to find the Hammer of Nandin. Pretty sweet. And I think he's just going to hold on to it, hoping that when Tilda gets near him, he can be able to be like, hey, guess what I found? This thing that can help you dominate in the game. I like the Hammer of Nandin on Tilda just because her mace relies heavily on having wounded characters around to be able to gain more attack buffs. I guess if I wanted to be able to use it in a later stage in the game, I could be able to take it out, especially if our team is really hurting, but we really need to take down characters. Tilda's mace is going to be useful. But for right now, I think hopefully the Hammer of Nandin is going to be enough to kind of balance out her character. Now that Collin has proven himself even more, what we're going to do is move on to the roach's turn. I think the roaches that we should probably move first is this one. I think this is the one that we should probably move first. Since it's all on its lonesome, we're going to move that one. This one gets to move 3 spaces. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And it can still attack Collin since it can reach over that gap. And it's going to attack Collin with 2 dice. We're going to see what this roach is going to be able to do. Oh boy! So, before we even conclude this attack, we're going to have to do a surge condition. So, now what we get to do is add that final piece of cheese onto the minion wheel. And now the minion wheel is going to surge and explode. And once it surges and explodes, we put all of the cheese on the minion wheel back into your tray. And there's a few steps you have to follow while doing a surge. And I'm just going to go over those. So here's what you have to do. First thing you have to do is move the hourglass marker 1 page closer to the chapter end marker. So we're going to get even more difficult enemies and we're even closer to losing the game. So you check the chapter instructions. If there is a special surge rule for the room the mice are currently in, follow the instructions. For this tile, we don't have a special surge rule, so we're just going to do what it says on the card. And on the card, it does say a spider is going to be our surge effect. And a spider is a large minion, and we're going to have to put that down onto the board in just a second. So we're going to put our spider right at the bottom there at that entrance. And a large minion takes up the whole space. So you can't have any other minions on the same space as a large minion. So that spider is all on its lonesome on the whole other side. As well as, once you do that, you have to add that minion's initiative track card to the initiative track. So now in the number 7 spot, we're going to have the spider. Whew. Oh boy. And now after resolving the surge, remove all cheese from the minion cheese wheel. Now the thing is that if there were, and this is just kind of a rule thing to let you folks know at home how this works, is that let's say that roach was still on this space right here, the spider would not have been able to come onto the tile, and we would just ignore the surge condition. We still bring the hourglass marker up 1 page, we still remove the cheese from the minion wheel, but we wouldn't have to add that spider or the initiative card for that spider onto the initiative track. But sadly, that roach had moved, and now we have to deal with it. So what we're going to have to do next is we're going to have to roll for these roaches over here. So this roach will move 1 space. So we're going to move that roach 1. And since there's no one around here, we cannot do any attacking for that roach. And then we have this roach. And this roach also moves 1. And we'll kind of put this one over in this space here just to kind of break them up. And that roach won't be able to do anything. So we kind of lucked out right there. So we only got 1 attack from a roach that didn't even hit us. But now we have a spider coming in, not looking good for us after this turn. But hopefully this last rat warrior is not going to give us any trouble either. So we have our first surge, which is quite interesting. And it's a spider, of all things. Pretty terrifying, to be honest. I'm really scared about what that spider is going to do at the end of this turn. But luckily, only 1 roach was able to attack us. The other 2 were, as you can say, a little bit slower than the other one, not being able to move as far as the first one did. But the thing is that Collin actually had to defend against it, which is great. But now we're just kind of one more villain to try to take down. So now with the roaches completing their turn, what we're going to do is move on to the rat warrior's turn. So now for this last rat warrior here, what we're going to do is we're going to roll for movement. And that rat warrior gets 2. So he'll be able to move past this roach and land right on the mousetrap space. And just like I said before, any of these obstacles that would normally affect the mice don't affect minions. So that rat is just able to climb over that mousetrap, and now he's ready to attack Collin. So what we're going to have to do is grab 2 dice for the rat warriors. And we're going to attack Collin, and we're going to hit Collin for 1. So hopefully Collin, with that leather breastplate and his natural 1 defense, will be able to defend, and he isn't. So Collin is going to have to get a wound added to his card. His first wound the entire game. So that's actually pretty impressive to note that it's on the 3rd tile and that's his first wound. But Collin gets a wound, and sadly he wasn't able to defend against that rat warrior. But now we're going to end the rat warrior's turn. So remember, before we finalize their turn, the rat warriors are going to have to be moved up 1 space in the initiative track. So now they are in the number 3 space instead of the number 4 space. So that rat warrior saw his buddy get obliterated by Maginos. Now he's really like on a vengeance run right now, trying to avenge his friend. So he goes out, attacks Collin, and Collin is going to have to take a wound right there. Collin's not expecting it. This rat is probably jumping right over the mousetrap, angered, going full force right at Collin. Collin is just like, whoa, taken back by it, and he takes a wound from the attack. So Collin's weakened a little bit, but I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be some retaliation coming up. I really hope so, actually. But with that said, let's move on to Nez's turn. So now it's Nez's turn. The big burly tinkerer. Hopefully Nez will be able to do something here to be able to help us out. And let's see here. Nez got 2 for movement, plus 1 of his movement value. He can move up to 3 spaces. So let's move Nez into the same space as Collin. Now he has a few choices of who to go for here. You can either go for the Rat Warriors or that Roach. I think it's going to be in our best interest to go for the Rat Warrior, just because the Rat Warrior is the only one that can still add wounds to us. So let's see what we can do here. And Nez, remember, has no wounds. Oh, we're coming with the big guns here. 4 hits. Going straight at this Rat Warrior. Oh my gosh. So now the Rat Warrior is going to have to defend against these 4 hits. We know that they only have 2 defense dice, so we know that this isn't probably going to end up pretty well for this rat. But let's see what he's able to do. Okay, so the Rat Warrior is able to block one of those hits, but 3 hits still get through and attack that Rat Warrior. He's just pulverized. He's just like destroyed right on top of that mousetrap. So we're able to get rid of that rat. And now what we got going on here is a roach. We got 3 roaches still around us, and we got that spider. The great thing though is that now that Nez has defeated that rat, we can remove the Rat Warrior card from the initiative track and slide everyone else up on the initiative track. So that was actually a really good turn for Nez to be able to help us out in that situation. So now that we've got rid of that Rat Warrior, we removed it from there, Nez really doesn't have any other options at this point. What we're going to do is we're going to end Nez's turn. All right. Whew. So we're able to take down that Rat Warrior. Wow, Nez must have just had some sort of anger building up since the last time where he couldn't find anything in the water, got out of the water, was just like steaming ahead, right? Steaming right ahead towards that exit into the kitchen tunnels, going, okay, this is it. I'm going to try to take down Rat Warriors, get some stuff done. And he's able to. He destroys that Rat Warrior. So now we don't have to worry about them. They're off the initiative track, which is great. And now all we have to do is worry about that spider and those 2 other roaches. But with that said, what we're going to do is move on to Tilda's turn. But the thing is, what we're going to do first is we're going to roll for Tilda's movement to see what we can do with her moving wise. Nice. So she got a 3. So she has maximum movement that she can do this turn, which is great. And we can probably be able to move her maybe into that space with Nez and Collin. Now the reason why I want to do this is actually not to heal them, but actually to attack that roach with her mace. And the great thing what it says on here is that for her mace, remember, you would add 1 to this mouse's battle during that attack for each wounded mouse that is on the same space as this mouse. And since Collin is wounded, we get an additional die to attack that roach with. So let's see what we can do. Well, even with those 3 die, we only got 1 successful hit. So we're going to have to see how that roach defends. The roach gets 1 defense die. Ooh, it does not defend against that hit, so it is successful. And we're able to get rid of that singular roach right there. So we have 1 less roach to worry about for our next turn. So now Tilda is there. What she can do is she could grab that Hammer of Nandin from Collin. And she wants to put that onto her. And what she's going to do is she's going to equip it and put her mace into her book bag for right now. And she's going to have the Hammer of Nandin on her. So the reason why I equipped the Hammer of Dandon right now is because it gives her a little bit more flexibility and it gives her better attack power. So, with all that being done, I think it's safe to say that we can end Tilda's turn. So, luckily we're able to use Tilda's mace to be able to give her a +1 attack with Collin's wound on him. And now what we can do is, so it's great that Tilda got to use her mace to take down that roach. She saw Collin hurting from that rat warrior attack. She's like, no, I gotta defend my friends. Rah! And she takes down that roach, which is awesome. And now she actually got to share that Hammer of Dandon from Collin and be able to hold on to it. And now she actually equipped it, so now she's even more powerful, especially if minions move on to her space. So hopefully we'll see what's going to happen later on in the series with this cool new weapon that Tilda has. I'm looking really much forward to it. With that said, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to that big old spider that's just creeping and crawling away a little bit closer to us. So let's see what that spider is going to do. So if you look at the spider card, it has 2 attack, 3 defense, and it has a poison ability. All wounds inflicted by a spider are considered poison wounds. And we're going to roll for the spider's movement. Wow. Okay, so the spider moves 3. And it's going to move 1, 2, 3. And since it's right near these guys, it's going to attack the one that's on the highest on the initiative track, and that's right, it's Collin. It's going to be best for you to be able to defend against these spiders or just try to stay away from them as best as possible. So this spider is going to attack Collin. So let's see how it does. Oh boy. Oh boy. It gets 2 hits on Collin. So Collin has 2 defense. Luckily, Collin has 2 defense. To see what he can do. So Collin is able to block 1 hit, which is wow, which is going to be the one block that's going to save his life. But he's going to gain a poison wound from that spider that's going to stick with him on this journey until he can get it cured or have another spell or something like that be able to remove it. So that spider did a little damage on us, so that's a little scary. So that will end the spider's turn. Oh man. So Collin is trying to protect his friends the best way he can, but he is getting hurt. He got hit by the rat warrior, he's getting hit by this spider, and he's having a hard time being able to survive. But the problem is that with that spider hitting him, now he has a poison wound. So he's actually hurting even more than expected because it's going to be very hard to get rid of that poison wound from him. So hopefully he'll be able to find some sort of cure or some spell that will be able to help him be able to get rid of that poison wound and be able to continue on unscathed. So it seems like we're actually getting to a kind of a crazy point in our story. Collin is hurting a bit. Tilda and Maginos each have wounds as well. Things are kind of starting to progress a little bit for us. We're able to take down some minions. It looks like this is probably a very action-packed turn because we got a new big enemy. We took down 3 minions, and now we're going to be able to try to continue on next turn and figure out what we're going to be able to do. If you guys enjoyed watching this show, please leave a comment to be able to help me out, continue on the motions for Collin, Tilda, and Maginos. I'm really excited for what you guys can add to this game. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to end this turn of Mice and Mystics. We're going to hopefully be able to survive these kitchen tunnels and be able to move on into the next tile. But what I just want to leave out there too is that if you guys are interested on moving to the kitchens and performing the optional side plot, maybe I'll put it on Twitter as well as a post, and maybe if you guys follow me at Twitter at David the Allen, what I will try to do is be able to put it on there, and you guys can even vote on if I should go into the kitchens or not. But with all that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.